audio's recording.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to forget that part. It happens though.
Bro, one time I did a 3-hour interview with somebody, and my mic was on, but theirs wasn't.
Damn.
It was a sad day. Another time I did a 3.5-hour interview with somebody on, I was recording it via phone, and it didn't record the sound, it just recorded the video.
Yeah, I had a guy come over here to put me on his podcast, and we got about 45 minutes in and realized that the mics weren't on, but so the camera audio got it.
Yeah.
Anyways, he released it anyways, but yeah, that was sad because it was pretty fun and like it obviously turned out not that great quality. And then another time when I was doing a show that never came out, I was gonna do a podcast called Nobody Asked for This, right? And,
Okay.
and it was me interviewing people that, you know, no one gives a fuck about people in Canada or whatever. So, and it's just me being a very rude interviewer, you know what I mean? Like just like the same way you'd interview someone, be like, oh, you won some fucking awards, who gives a fuck about that? Like what is it? What is that award anyways, kind of thing, you know? That kind of thing.
For real?
Anyway, so I did an episode. It was a fucking fire episode. It was funny. We got real. It was good, man. But then however I recorded it, it was on this new recorder, and I put it in some mode called vinyl mode.
Yeah.
And it sounded so shit. It sounded so shit.
Vinyl mode, yeah, of course. It'll sound like vinyl.
Yeah, so that sucked. That never came out. And then it made me lose drive to even go on that venture, that podcast. But
Really? Wow. That's weird, man.
because then the second episode, I was like, so the first episode was with Quincy Martin.
Oh.
And it was good. It was like we had a good combo. And then the audio got fucked up, and then he didn't want to redo it because we touched on a lot of touchy subjects for him.
On the things.
On the things. And he's like, he just kind of took that as a sign, like, no, I shouldn't be talking about that. Cool, fair enough. So then the second episode was going to be Rahil, and I'm just like shitting on him, whatever, and then but it didn't turn out that great, like, of a episode. But then he's like, oh, I love the way that we were just like making fun of each other and stuff. Let's just do a podcast like that. So that's how the Wet Beak started.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
That's actually amazing.
Yeah. Shout out to the Wet Beak, at the Wet Beak, hashtag the Wet Beak. Are we live right now?
Yeah, we're good to go. Yes.
Welcome to another episode of Pros and Conquerors, the bad boys of history. I'm James JamEasy Cummins. I'm here with Colin Cummings.
With a G at the end.
With the G. And me, the only G is me. It's INS over here. Today we're tackling big heavy hitter in Canada.
$5 bill, no?
$10 bill.
Is he $10 bill?
He might be on the 5 too. Definitely on the 10. Is there 2 people on the 5?
Nowadays, I don't even know.
For sure he is on the 10, but I think he's being replaced. Replaced, erased, defaced. The people are mad. The people are mad at John A. Coincidentally, a lot of people don't know this. Canadians say A, right?
People
because
don't.
Back in 1800s, when they went to the voting, they're saying, "I'm going to vote for John, eh?"
No,
I didn't make that part up.
Oh my God, that was good. That was really good. That old.
Just gonna go vote for John, eh?
Wow.
No.
I fully believe that.
Actually, he's the first Prime Minister of Canada. Wasn't voted in. He was appointed by the goddamn Queen of England. Ugh.
Was he?
Yeah.
That's some OG shit, though.
What do you know about John A. MacDonald? What's your basics info that you know?
I know him to be on the Bills, so I always have just thought of him like our George Washington. Like that's
fair enough.
That's
similar
basically
haircut too. I feel.
Yeah, like they kind of look the same. It kind of felt like the same kind of, not the same era, but like it
was it the same era?
Kind of felt like it. Like when you look at him, like that picture you sent me.
Yeah.
That was like it seemed like it. That puffy shirt era.
Oh yeah.
That weird era. The
I don't know when. I don't know American history like that to know what time people were. But yeah, 1867. That's when he came Prime Minister of Canada. When Canada became Canada, pretty much.
1867.
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't realize that.
Why? What happened in 1867?
Well, every white person on the earth was racist back then.
Well. It ain't that much different these days. You know what I mean? We got it sorted out in a couple places, but for the most part, it's a tricky one. 1867. Yeah, so he actually, not only was he not voted in, he actually wasn't born in Canada either.
Where was he born?
Scotland. came over to Canada when he was 5 years old. He didn't come over as a conqueror. He came over as a young baby.
This is gonna be a smear campaign because you're Irish. Oh, you already don't like this guy.
I don't like that he was appointed by the Queen. I'll tell you that right now. Like,
by the Scottish guy appointed by a British queen.
I don't have much hate for Scottish people. I just think, hey, if you guys want to bend down over for the Queen, that's cool. But we didn't want to.
Bro, you can't say I don't have anything against Scottish people and then say that.
I mean, Braveheart was a cool movie and all, but who did they call for help? The Irish.
Oh my god!
Do you remember that scene?
I haven't watched Braveheart. Fuck. How many? Like 12 years.
In Braveheart, there's a scene where the English, they're sending the Irish to fight the Scottish on their behalf. But when the Irish just get to the middle of the battlefield, they're just like shaking their hands, laughing, like, well, yeah, let's just go turn on the British together.
Really?
Yeah. And they're the one of the main like side characters in Braveheart is Stephen the Irishman.
Oh.
He talks to God. They say, "You talk to God?" He's like, "It's the only way an Irishman can talk to somebody on his level." Gotta talk to God.
Wow.
So shout out to God.
I definitely see where the Irish in my bloodline is. I can see it. If that's the attitude they have, we're very much like that in my family.
There you go.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so he came over when he was 5 years old, and like no respect for like, you know what I mean, he didn't come over to conquer. Like we gave Columbus a lot of love on the last episode for, yeah, like it might have been a genocide, but at the same time you say I'm gonna only need 50 men to take over this whole place. A little respect for that. Now John A. MacDonald was a whole different rise to power. He was a very smart, crafty guy. By 19, he had his own law office. He's very smart.
Okay.
He was like really maybe his family had money too. I didn't get all that info, but for sure he was just good at the wheeling and dealing, making things happen.
Okay.
Which is how he got Canada to become Canada, because when nobody else could bring all these different provinces as we know them today, east to west, together, somehow he was just making deals like, okay, you know what? You join up and we're going to throw a railway in here. That's going to help you move this shit. If you join up, we're going to do this. Like, he was just making all these deals. So that's why they say, like, they call him the father of Confederation.
Do they?
Yeah, that's like what they call him.
Oh, no.
So he was, in a sense, just the only man that was able to bring a whole country together. And that's why the Queen just was like, yo, you did some real ass shit there. Let me, you got everyone to say they're all going to be one, what do you call it? I guess.
Country?
Country. It wasn't even called a country because it was still under like British like rule.
So probably colony.
Colony or commune or something like that.
Yeah.
Just for everyone to link up and not be a part of America and just be Canada. So that's why the Queen knighted him, and she's like, you can be prime minister. So 1867 he was appointed prime minister, but now that we're a country, in only 4 or 5 years later, he got booted for a scandal, and the scandal was that he was taking bribes for these railway stuff. So this guy, not only was he making like these backdoor deals to get people to become a province, then when he was like selling off the railway, he was still like, put some extra money in my pocket. The guy was just a deal master.
Okay.
So respect on making sweet deals.
Yeah, very American attitude he had.
Very, very.
How did that wear off on all Canadians? Why aren't we all like that?
Well, I guess he's not shown as a shining example of what we should have been, because there is a lot of backlash. So now, right now, like I didn't know much about John A. MacDonald, same way you didn't know. Like I knew first prime minister, and on a $10 bill. That's pretty much all I knew.
Yeah.
We don't even have like a John A. MacDonald Day or anything, do we?
Nah, nothing. I've never heard
Canada
of that.
Day, where he was like the whatever, like appointed print. But anyways,
was it Canada Day where he was appointed?
July 1st, Canada became a country, and they had a prime minister, and it was him.
That's his day.
It's not his day though.
That's kind of his.
It's like
day.
Independence Day. It's fucking whatever.
But he was what brought about our independence. No,
he was part of it.
Whoa.
He was the father of he was apparently the only man for the job. Nobody could make a deal like John A. MacDonald. Like that's.
Huh. Okay.
Now, he fuck, where was I going with this? So he got kicked out in 1871 for making too many sweet deals for himself. Now, I didn't know much about him, but recently I saw people taking down his statue.
Of course. Yeah.
Right? Just recently, like this year. But apparently, like the last couple years in a row, in Montreal, they've been painting his statue with like blood red, whatever.
Why?
Montreal's
so racist. That whole place is racist.
It's interesting you bring that up because, okay, so Montreal, I gotta keep my thoughts in order because I was just gonna say, like, I didn't know anything. So I'm seeing people take down his statues and I'm curious. Wait, what did John A. MacDonald do?
Yeah.
Was he a killer? like Christopher Columbus? Did he come out and wipe out people? Like, what's that all about? But his thing was more, it's always on the wheeling and dealing. So his thing was like, yes, he was definitely racist against natives. Like, we can cut the bullshit and get right to, like, he basically just, he wanted Canada to, like, be built and, like, just be like, hey, you guys just stay out of the way. Like, he wasn't trying to kill them off, but he was, like, definitely trying to be like, all right. He was like, the people that were, say, to bring food to them, whatever, he'd be like, oh, cut them off unless they move into this area, kind of thing. Like, he'll basically starve you, and that's how they became reserves and stuff. He'd be like, you want food and stuff? Yeah, we'll give you food, but you got to live over there. So they moved them into, like, segregating them.
Keep it to your face, the mic.
He segregated them.
Holy shit.
And then the one thing he gets the worst rap for is residential schools. You ever heard of those?
Yeah.
Basically, like boarding schools for natives. So he was.
So they learn the white culture versus their own. Yeah.
And that wasn't okay. So I had to look into the history of that because I'm like, I saw it when I was looking for the bad on John A. MacDonald. So much of it was saying residential schools, but then it wasn't explaining what a residential school was. Do you know?
Not really. Like, I always thought exactly what you said. Like, it was just a place where they took the kids away from the parents so they could learn white culture instead of
pretty much. So, and then but that whole idea came up. When was it? So he didn't come to power until 1867. The first residential school was made in 1831. Before Canada was even a country, they were already like, let's make a school for these native kids.
Yeah, they knew what they were
doing. They already knew what they were doing. So it wasn't like it was John A. MacDonald's idea, but in, what was it, 1883? No, that's after 1883, 40 years after the government authorized them making the schools. That's when John A. MacDonald was like, or he authorized the idea. So they came up with the idea in like the 1840s. Okay. Before he was like even in politics. Yeah. And then when he became in politics about 10 years later, after he was prime minister again, because he got booted for that first deal. True. See, I'm bouncing all over the place now. He got booted for the first deal. He came back. And the second time he came back in the 1880s, that's when he's like, oh, let's make that idea a thing. Yeah. So he made residential schools like a thing. And they started popping up like all over the place. But he died in 1891. So like they didn't become mandatory until 1920. So yes, he definitely fueled the idea. True. But I don't think all the blame can be put on him. But at the same time, I'm not going to defend him because yes, he was definitely racist and he was definitely on the side of like, let's keep natives out of the way or whitewash them pretty much.
Yeah, which they did pretty heavily. I mean, before, like you can look at some pictures of native people in the 1700s. Very, very dark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got wide noses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they got everything. They're just super dark. They just look super, super dark.
So there was one guy that was like his main adversary. This guy, Louis Riel.
I've heard that name.
So he was like the hero of like indigenous. Like he basically was a great public speaker and stuff too. Like, and he was on the side of like, yo, let's not do these residential schools. Like we want to raise our kids with our culture kind of thing. True. And
he was native.
He was native. Oh. I'm not 100% sure if he was
probably
native.
Mixed.
He might have been mixed.
With that name?
Louis Riel, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good... So maybe he was just in politics. He was definitely on the side. He was either native or the first ally.
He's like the Sean King of native people.
There you go. So the fucked up thing about that guy is Johnny MacDonald had him executed. He had him executed. And in the city that he had him executed, in Regina, in the city that he had him executed, they have a Johnny MacDonald statue built steps away from where he was executed. So natives feel particularly bad about that one because it's like, yo, do you really need that statue right there? Like, that's a fucked up memory for them.
Wow. That's crazy. Wait, and this happened in Regina?
That was in Regina, yeah.
Are there any other races in Regina other than white nowadays? Isn't that the whitest place on earth?
I feel like Saskatchewan and Alberta are probably the whitest.
Really? More than Regina?
Well, the reason I thought Alberta is, I think Alberta's known for their racism, I think.
Are they?
Okay, maybe I'm making this up. I don't know. Aren't they?
I have no idea. I've never
Anytime I've met a black person or brown person from Alberta, they usually have some pretty bad, horrific stories.
True.
But I guess that could be small town Ontario too. It's just a matter of what part you're in.
Yeah, it's so true, man. It's hard to deal with. You deal with it too, right?
All the time.
Yeah.
People, I walk into a place and somebody says, "Play that funky music, white boy," and then I just have to hit the guitar
and they're like, "You're pretty fly."
And dance for them.
And then they look at you and they go,
"For a white guy, give it to me, baby."
So what? This has been half bad and half good because he's the reason for Canada Day. People, you want to take Canada Day off? All right, do it. But you know what you're celebrating, basically.
Well, yeah, you see a lot of these people, the protesters, taking down the statues and saying, "This is native land" and stuff. But like, how many of these same protesters are like living in their parents' house and like, like the white people that complain about it are just like, what are you really willing to do for this though?
Yeah.
What are you really? Are you willing to give up your land? Oh, it's your parents' land. You know what I mean? So what? When you're at the dinner table and you're saying something and your mom and dad are telling you, "Hey, don't speak like that in my house," and you're like, "This is a fucking free country.
This is native land."
I don't know, man. It's a tricky one.
It's a very true. I was actually just having that conversation with myself because I was like tired of like white people who were like that, but they have like a racist Uncle John. They'll scream at strangers, but they won't scream at Uncle John. They're fine with
or their
Uncle
grandma
John.
or grandpa.
Yeah. They won't excommunicate these people from their lives or anything, but they're willing to like get on these platforms and talk about how this stuff needs to stop. I don't like that.
Yeah, fuck white people. I agree.
I would rather you excommunicate Uncle John from your life than you shouting down people in different protests
or try and change their mind. Like,
yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm not a social justice warrior by any means, but I have friends that have said stuff around me that I try to correct their way of thinking. If it's like, if I see it as wrong,
yeah,
like I'll have a conversation with them, but I'm not going to be like, "You're a bad person. I hate you." Throw blood on them or something. Like, yeah, I had a conversation with a friend just yesterday about like he has a problem with like the kneeling and stuff, right?
True.
And I was like, kneeling, he just got fucking brainwashed by the media to think that kneeling was even a fucking disrespect thing in any way in the first place. Like that whole thing, Kaepernick. You know football at all? But you know the situation, obviously.
His name's Colin. Of course I know.
Colin Kaepernick. So it started with him sitting down on the bench during the anthem.
Oh, really?
Somebody asked him, "Why are you sitting down?" He said, "Well, I'm not going to stand and like take pride in a country right now that is killing black people, my brothers and sisters, and getting away with it." And which is a reasonable thing. They said, "Oh, it's a little disrespect to sit down during the anthem." So apparently he talked to people in the army, like veterans that he knew, friends and family, and they said, "You know what would be a more respectful way to do it? Take a knee." Like it still shows like you're showing something, a statement, but it's not a disrespect. You're not wiping your ass on the flag. You're not pissing on it. You're not throwing blood on it. You're taking a knee. You're showing, "Hey, I'm making a statement showing I'm not cool with. I'm not taking pride in this country right now because we should be ashamed of ourselves what we're doing," which is fair. So the way this my friend was like saying, "Oh, it's disrespect. It's disrespect." I'm like, it's not disrespect. Donald Trump said it was disrespect, and then everyone said, oh yeah, it's disrespect now." Same people are fucking jumping on that bandwagon that were probably buying a beer, taking a piss during the anthem at the football game. Because I know hundreds of people that do that too. Like,
true.
I've been to many football games over the years in the States, and buddy, everyone didn't stop what they were doing every time the anthem came on.
True. Same thing here. It's like, fuck.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like to listen to both sides of the argument. That's what we do on this show, because it's just like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, yes, everyone in history is racist. You look back 200 years, they're going to be being mean to somebody else.
Of course. That's how it works.
I think I don't even know who well, I think we brought him up last show. Kublai Khan, Genghis Khan's grandson, was the first emperor that was like, everyone can be their own race and religion as long as you recognize me as your king.
As long as you kneel.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that about, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Kneel, take a blow. Kneel, suck a dick. Kneel, get knighted. Kneel. Kneeling is always done in a respectful way.
Bro, if a girl takes a knee to suck your dick, that is a patriotic lady.
One knee?
Yeah, just one knee. But it's funny you say that about Colin Kaepernick.
Don't disrespect my dick like that. Stand up. Put your hand on your heart and suck that dick.
Fucking, it's funny you say that because David Goggins, who's a black Navy SEAL, someone who's in the military, he was like, I'll never kneel for the flag. He's like, because that's an act of cowardice. It's actually an act of cowardice. And that is what I guess. I don't know. That's what he said. He's like, I'll never do that. He goes, it doesn't make sense to do that. And he's like, I'll always stand for my flag. But
I mean,
he's a Navy SEAL.
Who knows what? Either way, he says it's an act of cowardice. It's not a sign of disrespect though, and it never was. I hate the army, and then the way that
that's true.
That got spun was a total Donald Trump thing, and like I'm not even a guy that trashes Donald Trump all the time, but like that scenario specifically is all created by his rhetoric that he put out, whether it was campaign managers or whatever, because that was the year he got elected, 2016. Kaepernick took a knee, Trump got elected. He starts saying taking a knee is bad. Football's a disgrace. For even letting that happen. And look at football now. Look at everyone now. Like they're like, oh, actually we actually realize we are killing black people. We should stop.
Football? The NFL?
I think
because Jay-Z works there now.
Goodell, I'm pretty sure he said like, oh, I was wrong about that Kaepernick stuff.
Yeah, because Jay-Z works in the NFL now.
Well, the heat of the nation's on everything right now.
Well, Jay-Z says in a line, like, because a lot of people were like getting at him for doing that whole NFL deal, but he made a line referencing like, I'm gonna get in and I'm gonna change it within. Like that's how you win. Like that's how he like phrased it, kind of thing.
Yeah. And
as soon as he went in, all of a sudden those changes started to happen, like very slowly. But who knows if he's actually responsible? I don't actually think he's responsible, but
yeah, who knows? And everything could be they'll just say whatever is best for public opinion. But
it's true.
But speaking of public opinion, okay, back to John A. MacDonald. Now, John A. MacDonald. So right now, the statues, like I said, Montreal, they were throwing blood on it the last couple of years, but this year, after a Black Lives Matter protest, they took it down.
Really?
They actually took it down.
Wow.
And so apparently they had a petition online. 46,000 people signed it, but the mayor was like, "No, we're not taking it down." Now, 46,000 people. Does that sound like a lot to you?
Yep.
It does?
If they all round up in one place, definitely.
Well, I just mean like so the population of Montreal is 1.8 million. So 46,000 is actually is actually only 2% of the population. So 2% of the population, and God knows they just put that petition online and everyone all over could sign it, and you only got 46,000 people to sign it.
True.
It ain't that strong of a petition. So they decided to go take it down themselves. They took it down themselves, and the funny thing is, they're bringing up Alberta being racist. So they took down the statue, and Alberta said, "Hey, if Quebec doesn't want that statue, we'll take it."
Wow, gangster.
Well, everyone else is getting rid of these John A. MacDonald's. Alberta's just gonna be full of them. Like Toronto, Montreal gonna take them down. BC, all like the more like liberal places, and then Alberta's just gonna have a fucking shitload of John A. MacDonald statues.
Why not, man? You know why? Because usually people like that usually stay very connected to the history, and they know that they're celebrating Canada Day because of that guy. It's literally because of him.
It's such a hard thing to say, like
he put the country together. You know, China was put together the same way. Like it was a bunch of places, and one emperor just started like killing shit and then making deals, and he brought it all together and made it like the Chai Emperor, and that's how it became China.
Wow. Yeah.
And he was a horrible man, but
you had to break a few eggs to make an omelet back then. But John A. MacDonald, like what he did, it seems like unnecessarily mean. It was just racist. Like it wasn't like, well, he's like, I gotta make more room for white people, I guess.
That's exactly it.
That's what he did.
There's a whole colony of people. I know who has to get over here.
Yeah, because in BC, apparently BC used to have like way more natives, and then it just got shrunk, pushed over here, and they just kept flooding the place with settlers, and they're like, they'd make them. He would offer like natives like deals, like offers they can't refuse. Like, yeah, you're not gonna get food unless you move over here. Like I told you, like it's fucked. Like so, yeah,
That's
definitely.
crazy.
But yeah, the whole taking down statues, man. It's always it's tough because a person like that, yeah, he did bring the nation together. He is noteworthy. It's definitely to say that's the guy that created the nation. But yeah, there should definitely be a plaque that's not all celebrating him. Like maybe
True.
like there's a little one that you can flip the page if you're over 18. Like you don't want kids reading about all the horrible things. But he didn't genocide. He didn't murk people. Like he wasn't a killer. He was just a straight up fucking wheeling, dealing snake. You know?
Yeah, he just seemed like he was like a smart guy that was like, oh, I want them over there.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to cut off their food source, which they did by killing all the buffalo. People act like as if like some white guy came and sneezed and 90% of the native people died. They murdered off all the buffalo because they want to control those people's food sources, which is what they did, which is why John A. MacDonald could do that in the first place.
Huh?
It's horrible and smart. And some horrible things are smart. Like some horrible things take intelligence to think of.
Like, and yeah,
especially back then,
yeah.
Nobody was thinking that way,
and people were not. It is bad, like to think like people weren't treating other humans like equals. Like he didn't look at natives as equals. He definitely was racist. He definitely looked at them as like subhuman.
Yeah, that's what.
Because he came in and he's like, oh no, we got to make space for real humans over here.
Of course.
If you guys want to be real humans, well then you better not listen to your parents. Go to our white schools, and we'll teach you how to be a real human. Like it's really fucked up.
Yeah, it's almost like they tried to destroy the nuclear family. That's what they kind of tried to do. Within those people, they tried to like take the kids away and kind of destroy that whole thing.
He came to Canada. He heard natives banging on their drums, singing, and he's just like, "How do we stop that?
How do we turn that down?
Yeah.
Is there any way to turn that down?"
See that little kid learning the drum over there? Let's put him in a school and get him to learn piano instead.
He should be learning how to write things for me.
Yeah.
Immediately. I need a slave boy.
Damn.
And then that's just what happened with the natives. Is there anything that happened with slaves? I guess he was dead. Well, no, because slavery was already going on.
I didn't hear anything about slavery with him.
Wow. Look at him.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he didn't like black people either. But
he's like, if I could just get a hold of some of them.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll save that for another show, like the history of who was really doing that slavery dirt in Canada. Because Canada, like obviously, he was in Canada from 5 till the time he became prime minister before it became Canada. So like there were still white people in here doing dirt,
of course,
before it was a country.
Yeah,
when they were just settling in.
Look into that Trudeau name. I bet you there's some slavery in there.
Ooh, probably. Definitely some child sex work, everything, man.
Probably, right? Like they're probably affluent people for a very long time.
Yeah.
And if you're affluent, you're going to have an iPhone. And if you're affluent back then, you're going to have a slave.
I think Trudeau is not a good guy.
Me neither.
Trudeau did blackface more times than he can count. Like that first picture came out, he's like, oh, I didn't remember that. The second picture came out, they're like, how many times did you do this? And he's like, honestly, I couldn't keep track.
Wow. So it's just like a thing he did. Now you're a videographer. Done. You can get paid $700 a day if you want.
Yeah. Just splice that together.
$4,000. Yeah, splice it all. But the people who listen to the audio, they're going to get this.
They can just, you get that sneak peek behind. So yeah, right now we're working with a 2-camera setup. We don't have a cameraman working for us yet. If you wanna come work for us to press a button every 30 minutes,
yeah, every 30 minutes.
Send in your application to @jam_easy or @Colin's Process on Instagram.
No, on Instagram. Yeah, DM me. I like DMs. I don't like emails.
Yeah, email's a bit too much to give out right now.
Right now?
What were we talking about?
John A. MacDonald and slaves and slavery in Canada. But let's get back to John A. MacDonald. What did he do that's profoundly good?
Profoundly good?
Like, just anything?
The whole bringing the nation together.
That was it?
Pretty much like...
Oh, damn. Oh, no, John.
Yeah, no, he was known for being... Like, he was just an amazing wheeling and dealing. Because even when he was prime minister, he corruption all the time. This guy
really?
Not all the time, but there was a couple scandals that came out taking bribes multiple times for the whole railway thing. This guy,
wow,
he got in. He got in 1867. He was forced to resign in 1873.
For real?
In 1873, because of the bribe thing.
Oh,
but then he won elections in 1882, 1887, and 1889. So this guy was like
for prime minister.
Yeah.
Wow.
So appointed prime minister by the queen, forced out because of taking bribes, and then he won 3 more times. This guy was apparently great at making speeches too. After he got forced out, he gave a 5-hour speech. This is like apparently like it was like amazing. People really? And it was all just saying I didn't do it.
Really?
It was the original. It wasn't me for 5 hours.
So he's like a combination of like Trump.
Saw me stealing from the railway. It wasn't me. Saw me screwing over natives. It wasn't me. Now, here's the thing. Right-wing Nazis, liberal cucks, all you idiots. When Johnny MacDonald was screwing over the native people, liberals never had a problem with it. You know what the funny thing is? Not funny, but fucked up. So the only time liberals would, what they would go at him for was that he was putting too much money aside to give natives food.
Whoa.
So liberals were actually saying you got to cut that spending to giving them food. But that was his way of making them live where he wanted to, because he'd be like, I'll put all the food over. I'll give you guys all the food you need if you go over here.
Wow. And probably like a little extra to make sure they don't
to go.
Just shut up.
And liberals were like, hey, stop giving them food. Just kill them. Like, that's the thing. Like, Christopher Columbus would think Johnny MacDonald was a pussy. He's like, why don't you just kill them?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean go live over there?
He'd be like, there's thousands of you here.
Yeah.
I only needed 15. Murder everybody here.
Yeah. So, yeah, Johnny MacDonald was a bad guy and racist and everything. But if from 1492, when we talked about Christopher Columbus, now we're talking about the 1800s, it progressed to a time of, okay, we're not going to kill them all. We're just going to try and make them lose their culture and lose their land.
And that's only when you have the queen, because now the queen's appointed you. That's only when you have all that bearing down on you. That you're like, okay, now I'm just going to shift them around. But if he was given Christopher Columbus's, I guess, leniency, because he could do whatever the fuck he wanted, basically, under the name of the king or queen or whatever he was doing. So if Johnny MacDonald had that, who knows what he would have done?
Yeah.
Probably would have started marking him off. But at that point, that wasn't trying to be civilized.
He wasn't a warrior conqueror like Christopher Columbus. He was a wheeling dealing machine. Like, this guy was like, yeah, he brought a nation together. He forced the natives out. It
sounds like he's the first very aware politician. Like, as if he was just like, people are watching me now. I have to run this country properly, and
well,
and taking bribes and shit.
Taking bribes. Having a 5-hour speech about how it wasn't him.
Right.
He had like, how many alibis do you need, John?
Bro.
So funny thing about this, people protesting things and stuff though. So there's a pub in I think it was Saskatoon. I'm not 100% sure. It's on the West Coast somewhere, but it's called Sir John's Public House.
Oh shit.
So protesters came with like hanging like John A. MacDonald, like
an effigy.
Hanging him. Burning them in front of the restaurant, like putting on like these big displays, like really making customers feel uncomfortable, like yelling at them, saying you're supporting a colonial business.
True.
So, but the funny thing is, the business owner is just like, I don't really care about Johnny MacDonald. Like, I just thought the name was okay, kind of thing. So he's like, okay, I'll just change the name. Took Sir John out, and then he just became the Public House. And it's not like all these people that were protesting are like, hey, we're going to come support your business now that you changed your name. No.
That's right.
So they all they did was they forced them to change the name. And then now they're like, okay, we're satisfied now, but we're not going to give you any money. We're not going to come support your business. And then his customers that did like it before, they're like, wow, you bent for those liberal fucks. You know what I mean? Because you know how people are.
Yeah,
they make everything about politics. So
of course.
He's just like, just come and enjoy the food and drinks. Like, who cares what the name of the pub is? But people are making it like this poor guy. Like, when I was watching his interview, this guy just wants to run a business, and he's getting so much pressure from the left and from the right, and he's like, I don't give a fuck what you guys are arguing about. Just let me exist.
That would be fun. That's a hard place to be in, man.
Yeah. So he got death threats for changing it from Sir John.
Death threats for changing it. Death threats for having it to be the name. That's fucked.
Yeah. like straight up, you have people outside hanging a dummy and burning it in front of your restaurant. Like his workers felt like unsafe going to work, like with that angry mob in front.
100%.
And then you change the name to suit them. Then you lose business because they weren't coming anyways. And then the people that were coming are like, oh, you bent your knee to them. And then you start getting death threats from these crazy right wing nuts. So that's what I'm saying. Right wing Nazis, liberal cucks, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and you're all white, so
you're all white.
That kind of says something. Hey, white people. Look at that. Look, I'm just kidding.
I know how easy it can be to forget that you're white.
Right? Yeah.
But
I forget I'm black sometimes. Yeah. Especially when I'm editing my podcast and stuff. I'm like, who is this white guy? He sounds great. And then it's me. Yeah.
You think you sound white?
Yeah.
When I went for a audition as a strip club DJ, they said I sounded black.
100%. You got a lot of diaphragm.
Now, coming to the stage, Candy. Fellas, don't forget to tip your waitresses.
Did you actually get the job?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. It was a short stint.
That's funny.
I went with no experience, but I played it off though.
That's all right.
I always lie on my resumes, so just like anything else,
it's expected.
Strip club DJ, you still bring a resume, and I put some lies on there. And the guy that was like the head DJ there, he's like, "Hey, you look familiar," and I was like, "Yeah, you might have saw me in Guelph. I just made it up."
True.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, maybe."
Yeah.
So he just thought I was a fucking strip club DJ already. So I got the job like I had experience. I went there. I had a terrible first day, but
then you picked it up.
And I picked it up because I fucked up so much. Songs were stopping, lights were turning off.
Oh, you were like in charge of that shit.
Yeah.
I thought you're just the guy talking.
No, you do it all, man.
Oh, fuck.
It's too much, yo.
Oh,
well, it was too much for a guy that knows nothing. I just went in there and I was just pretending that I knew what I was doing. I knew how to talk. That was it. But all the technical stuff, like operating that, I fucked that up like multiple times the first night.
Wow. That's sick. You got a lot of stories, man. You got a lot of things you've done.
So, yeah. I lived the life before I started doing comedy.
Yeah, me too. Long life before I started doing comedy. I was actually talking about that today on a vlog I was doing. I've been into self improvement for like since I was 14 years old, so like 20 years now, and I've only been doing comedy for one and a half. So.
Really? That's it?
Yeah, man. That's it. Hopefully, I'll get to do it again. I got to get on stage.
When's the last time you've been on stage?
Matt Duffy's Lenny Bruce show.
Okay, that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, he had a Lenny Bruce tribute. I went up there. I riffed mostly though. I had a bit, but it fell apart in my head. You know when that happens? Like it's fresh and it just starts fucking crumbling.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Fuck. So what else? So he basically did nothing good.
He did. He brought the country together.
He did an insanely good thing.
He did something that no one else was able to do, which was bring all the provinces together to agree to be one nation. And then he also built railways. That was one of the deals that he made though with most of the people. He's like, okay, if we all become a country, we can put a railway through this whole motherfucker. Hey, West Coast, you want some shit from the East? I'll hook it up. Just sign the dotted line. And then he got everyone involved.
True.
And that's why the Queen showed him like a lot of respect, because she's like, she knighted him. He was a Scottish guy, came to Canada when he was 5 years old. He fucking lawyer at 19, own law office at 19. Then he starts wheeling and dealing in politics and just ends up being able to talk everyone into making the whole nation together. Like,
that's drive.
It's drive.
He has some good drive, man.
The guy, once again, I'll say this guy would be a good character in a TV show.
Bro, the bringing together of a country would be a sick TV show.
Is that a TV show?
Nah.
Hell on Wheels?
Hell on Wheels? What's that?
I'm pretty sure it's about like the whole railway industry back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's American or Canadian, but there's a show about all the wheeling and dealing with.
Really?
That was railway was bringing the nation together.
Wow.
1867. Canada's not that old.
No, not at all.
Looks like an old bitch to me.
Well, America's what? Much older, no? Or maybe 100 years old?
I don't even know.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird when you think about it. When you really think of time and then the country.
They say, like, if it wasn't for Johnny MacDonald, Canada just would have been a couple U.S. territories and, like, maybe, like, a small British colony.
For sure. It'd be Texas.
Yeah. So.
Like this part, like Ontario.
So, when you're tearing down that Johnny MacDonald statue, I hope you're ready to suck Trump's dick. because that's what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, this is native land. No, it would have been American land if it wasn't for him. Pretty much.
True.
Right.
True. Yeah. No. 100%. Because if he didn't bring about Canada, yeah, like you said,
we gotta get a native on here because I don't want to be disrespecting the natives. It's just like that's history. Like you guys got fucked.
They got fucked over. I would like to talk to a native person about it too, but I don't want to talk to one that's gonna start to cry and like I want to talk to a level-headed person.
Maybe one single tear when we throw garbage on the ground.
No. Bro, you take one look at like what you got going on here and you just tear up. You'd be like, oh no.
Don't talk about what I got going on there. What's that native Indian thing that you can smoke?
Weed?
No, not weed. You can buy it at the grocery store, and I mean convenience store, and it like fucks you up. Sativa? No, not sativa. Salvia?
Salvia?
What's salvia?
Salvia is a hallucinogenic substance.
Yeah, you can get it at the convenience store, right?
Not anymore. Before you could.
You could, man.
It's illegal now.
That's a native Indian thing, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. It would.
It's
it would
illegal
definitely
now.
makes
I got that when I was like maybe like 20, 21.
Yeah.
I would never do it again. I just felt so hot. I felt like the walls were closing in on me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's all you got?
What'd you get?
My legs disappeared and they like soaked into the bed I was sitting on. It was my buddy Mike that you met.
Yeah.
I was sitting on his bed and then also my legs went away, but I did it through a bong hit and I got the bong water in my mouth, like a good amount of bong water. So I was having this trip and also I was like tasting bong
Nasty.
water,
Yeah.
and it was disgusting. So and I couldn't talk. I asked Mike for gum and I was just like pointing and he was like this and he handed it to me and he put it in my hand and I didn't even know how to put it in my mouth. I had to like eat it like an animal. Like it was weird.
Yep.
And then it just went away. But after all those stories came out, all those videos on YouTube, I think even Miley Cyrus has one hitting some salvia and then doing like crazy shit. Once all those videos start coming out, they're like, gotta make this thing illegal.
It should have been illegal. And honestly, like I'm not even mad at that. Like as far as like drugs being legal, like that doesn't need to be out there. Just buying at a convenience store when you're a fucking young kid, like
strong as fuck. That's like one of the crazy. Like my buddy offered me that just like a few months ago, and I was like, nah. And I say yes to most psychedelics, but salvia, I'm like, nah, I'm not down. So he didn't do anything good.
You keep saying that,
because there should be more, right? There should be like a list of good things. If we want to defend him properly.
We're not America.
Hey,
we
man,
would have been America, or we would have. I know we're still like technically like
we are.
The
America.
Queen is like on our change and stuff, but we wouldn't have been the Canada that we know it today. And honestly, Canada is one of the best countries.
Yeah.
And like, we do owe the natives an apology, and by we I mean like the royal we, them.
The royal we, the elite we's.
Yeah, they definitely did. The biggest terrorist organization in the world, the royal family. They went around the world and they fucking terrorized people, and they're like, "Hey, go do this for us." And yeah, so I mean, like, what are we gonna do about it now? Are we all gonna just give the country back to the natives?
That would be some shit.
Like, what would we do? Where do they want us to go? And then the natives are like, "Hey, now you go to the reserves, and we're gonna live out here." And that'd be a big switch. And they're like, well, "Can we at least have free cigarettes and stuff?"
Do we have to pay taxes? Can we stop paying taxes?
One of the guys that's protesting, like one of the John A. MacDonald statues, he goes up to it. He puts a bag on his head and a noose around his neck to reenact that Louis Riel. But he carries a bottle of rum with him. And he just yells at the statue, like, and people just go to watch, and like apparently he puts on a good performance.
And he yells at the statue.
He's just like, "John A. MacDonald, I came here to talk to you about residential schools," and he just like, talks about how it's bad and stuff.
See, like that right there, that's what should be like. The statue should remain, I think, and not a performance like that, but somebody talking about the residential schools, the this, the that, like you said. Like,
what if they just gave us the offer to just be like, "You two guys go stand in front of that John A. MacDonald statue. We heard your podcast, and we just want you to tell him the bad and the good that he did. We thought you guys did a great job on Pros and Conquerors, the bad boys of history. We liked it so much that we subscribed and we asked you to come do it live."
I would. How much? How much are they paying?
I don't know, but we should donate it to the natives, 100%.
No. I'm taking the money.
Oh, that's true. Okay, I'll donate the white half.
Yeah. So sorry, native people.
Yeah, black people going through enough.
Yeah. I've been below the poverty line long enough. Sorry, Native people.
But yeah, Native people have been through a lot, man, and it's sad. And
it is. For like, is it sad for you when you think about it? Because like as a black person, I'm just like, yeah, that's what they do. Like I don't get sad.
That's what these white people do.
Yeah, I don't get sad.
Well, I have a Native aunt. I don't know if I talked to you about it last time, but
I think
I have a Native aunt, and she, like her and her brothers and sisters were like separated. Like they were separated when they were kids. But she's a G, man. She was like the second oldest out of the brothers and sisters, and when she grew up, she made it her like lifelong goal to like, I'm bringing the family back together, and she did.
Wow.
So yeah, obviously like that fucked them all up, and everyone had to go through some shit, but I big her up for that, yo.
That's crazy. She brought them all back together.
Yeah, man.
That's really nice, actually, to hear.
Maybe we'll have her on.
Yeah, I'm down to talk to a Native
Gotta
person.
give her a bottle of wine, though.
A bottle of wine?
That's my aunt. I'm not saying because she's Native. I'm just saying like, I know because she's my aunt. She can definitely have a good combo or a bottle of wine is what I'm trying to tell you. Whether you like it or not, you might get a phone call to tell you about everything.
Oh, man. Yeah, that would be some shit. So, yeah, I guess he fucked over Native people large. And, yeah, I would like to know what happened with black people. Because there were black people. There were.
It's not always about black people, Colin.
Well, you know what? It's not. What could have happened is all of this that we're talking about, the black people could have just been slaves working and no one gives a fuck. Because it's just like, yeah, that's what they did back then.
That's what they did. I know.
It could be.
It was natives' land. I mean, nobody asked the black people to come here. Oh, actually, the white people did. They forced them to.
Nobody asked the black people to come here. Bro, and then there's some people that say that black people were here. They were already here. You ever hear that conspiracy?
The conspiracy?
Well, I mean, a lot of people say that there's no records for any of the slave ships that came over with us. And they kind of think that we were here already. And I don't say we, I say the like American black people, because I know I come from the Caribbean and everything.
Yeah.
But they're saying like the American black people that are like in America right now,
heard that conspiracy.
They were there already. That's why when you look at Native people from like the 1600s, 1700s, they're black as fuck because they came over, they were Polynesian, and then mixed with these black people that were here already.
Wow.
Black natives.
Wow. Who knows?
Who knows, man? Who knows? The world's a big mystery. I always say if you knew every secret that we don't know from the world, you just cry.
The world is a big mystery, and when you look back on like, okay, yeah, if this was the natives' land, you know what I mean? Let's look back at like their top chief or whatever, the guy that they would have honored.
Ooh.
I'm sure that guy would have had some dirt in his closet because natives, they respect the warriors. You know what the warriors did? They would fucking cut off the scalps of men.
More than that, man. That's just what we know. That was just like
that was just a little badge of honor.
Yeah,
Who knows the stuff that they were ashamed of?
Yeah, exactly.
That was the stuff that they were proud of. Hey, look at how many guys' heads I just cut the top off of this today.
Yeah,
and that was like, yo, sick, man. Somebody make this guy a statue.
Oh God, damn, you're right. See, and that's the thing.
Everyone has skeletons in their closet, especially the further back you go. The more gruesome things were, the more less people were treated human.
True.
I feel like I hope by the time we get to the 10th episode, we have some gauge to be like, was this guy really bad? Was this guy really good? Right now, I'm just starting to get into this history stuff. And as much as the first two guys that we talked about did bad stuff, I respected Christopher Columbus's, I'm going to take on a whole nation with just 50 guys. I respected that attitude.
That's amazing.
And Johnny MacDonald, I think, was probably a piece of shit. I look at his face. I think he looked like a real jerk. I think he was definitely racist. He wasn't a conqueror, but what he was good at was being a fucking crafty snake, just a fucking wheeling and dealing.
Yeah.
Corrupted. You can't trust him. If you're in a room with him, yeah, he's making a deal with you while he's fucking making somebody else a deal behind your back. Like, that was the kind of guy he was. Good and bad. That's how he brought the nation together, but that's also how he screwed over the natives.
True. You ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
You know Littlefinger?
Yeah.
He was like Littlefinger.
He was like a Littlefinger. And a Littlefinger is like, yeah, because Littlefinger would have never been a king.
No.
But the fact that he made all these deals for the person above him.
Isn't that what happened to him?
Yeah. Very similar.
Wow.
Good. Yeah, that's the thing. Like and to be honest, Littlefinger, I did like for most of the seasons.
I liked the way he thought, you know? Like I liked the way he thought. I didn't like what he did with Sansa when he sold her off to that fucking crazy motherfucker.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was like, But I liked when he got screwed over too.
Oh yeah.
Because it was his own deals that did it, which kind of is what happened with John A. MacDonald. He got forced out due to his own.
He got forced out, but then he got reelected 3 other times. So the people still loved him. The guy knew how to make a speech. If you could sit and listen to a guy for 5 hours and walk away being like, that was one of the best speeches, because that was because you would think after 5 hours you'd be like, it could have just been 2. I think he could have said all that in 2. It was a whole 5-hour speech about denying that I didn't take bribes, but he's like, everyone knows you did it.
Yeah.
Like that. Part of the reason that you brought this country together is because you're fucking so good at side talking and doing this and that, like making side deals. Like that was his specialty, straight up.
Yeah, but do you think anybody thought like you do right now, or do you think they were all just like stupid enough to be like, oh, he's just a great man. I guess he's just a great talker.
Trust him. He's got a nice suit on. We should trust him.
Yeah.
Look at that haircut.
People are stupid now. Maybe they're stupid back then, but people are smart now. Maybe they were smart back then too. Yeah, maybe they were like, he's just a grifter or whatever.
You think the natives were smart?
Fuck yeah. I think they were very smart, and I think they were kinder. I think they were very kind, and that's what got them fucked over at first.
Yeah, how many years do you think they were being nice to white people before they realized they're like, hey, I don't think we're getting a good end of this deal?
Yeah.
Because originally, I guess they made deals where it's like, oh, you can't own land, right? So it's just like whatever. But then after they're like, fuck, we're getting screwed. How long do you think it took them to realize? Like, I think it was at least a generation and a half. Like,
I think it was like 2 years. But they just started murking.
You think they
people.
realized pretty soon that they were already getting fucked?
They started murking people because, like, I mean, people always say that like they didn't have a concept of possessing something. Mm-hmm. So when these people came, they kind of looked at them like, oh fuck, you just got off a boat, like you're all emaciated, like, yeah, of course you can be here, of course you can have that. And then when they would come back to be like, yeah, this is our shit, right? And the white people were like, no, we don't do that our shit. Like, this is ours now.
Yeah.
And I think right from there, they started realizing. And I think just like in the black community, they do today, and they do it with everybody, every race, religion. Anytime somebody gets really smart and starts stepping up, they cut them down. And that probably happened within the native community. Probably there's some guy like, hey, guys, we can't do this. And then all of a sudden he just ends up dead. It's
too bad natives aren't good at like sports and entertainment like black people are. They could have at least been cool.
Oh, man.
This is just a little bit of a comedy podcast too, guys. You got to throw in a little laugh every now and then. I have a lot of respect for the natives and the culture.
Nah, man, you're kind of right, man.
The white man's wheeling and dealing, man. The white, because
but you're right though. That was a big part of getting accepted as black people. They could do a bunch of shit. Like at first it was like, fuck these guys, they're better than us, but then it became like, get over here, get on our team. Yeah, come on, let's do it.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like I'm race trading or anything, but when I look at like on paper,
race trading,
you would think black people are the superior race on paper.
Yeah, if you were like,
as far as like, look at how talented and athletically,
the genetics,
athletically and entertainment and just like right now, it hasn't been like this all throughout history, but I would say probably since the 70s, black culture has been like
the culture.
It has been something that is very popular.
It's the buffet that everybody likes to visit.
If white people weren't going to the black version of it, they made a white version of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? They at least borrowed an idea from that. So the fact that all that's coming from black people, I'm thinking, how did white people become so powerful? And the one skill that white people have that maybe black people, maybe nobody else had the same way we did, is wheeling and dealing, and sneaky scams.
There had to be some kind of like trickster.
You go to a used car lot, you're probably gonna get a better deal from a black guy than a white guy, because white guys are just the best at slicking their hair back and making you feel like you're driving away with a steal, but really they're fucking laughing at you because that muffler doesn't work or something, you know?
True. Maybe, yeah.
Because
there is something there. But I mean, what really happened? Yeah, I guess the snakish. I guess.
Like, what are we so good at? Like, what are white people really good at in history?
Because once the Library of Alexandria got burnt down, once that happened, Africa lost all its history. Like, once that happened, it was like, you don't know. That contained how why and how the Sphinx were built, why and how the pyramids were built.
Oh, wow.
And not just in Egypt, but all over the world, why they were built. Like, it was just everything that a black person could look at and be like, oh my God, this is my
Yeah.
Anything that would do that, but like that's why you take that shit away. You take away
say-
someone's history, so you disempower them greatly, and that's what.
What is that like? Yeah, okay. Explain that to me.
If you take away
The
history,
same way they don't want natives to have.
oh, it's so bright right now because of this goddamn. Can I cover this somehow? Oh my god, that fixed everything. If it can stay up.
Well, yeah, the same way natives. I mean, John A. and whoever else came up with this residential school was to eliminate their culture. So, how does that taking away your history make you weaker as a people? Like, what's the concept?
You understand perfectly because you know your history so well. So if I took all of that knowledge away from you of who you are, Ireland, taking away what you know about Ireland, even where you come from, even what your name means. Like you're explaining to me what the Cummings name is and how I'm like a Protestant bootlicker or something for having the G, and then you imagine taking all that away, and then somebody's like, "You're a Cummings with a G."
Okay.
And like, you know what I mean? And it just keeps going like that.
It's just like
right. And you're wearing all these things that are actually disempowering you, and you don't even know it. But if somebody from your culture could come and tell you, you'd feel more if they can explain the warrior history that Irish people had after not knowing anything. How much more empowered would you feel?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you wouldn't be looking at African warriors or Asian warriors or samurais. You'd be like, my fucking people have fucking warriors themselves.
Wow.
And you'd step into that. You'd start owning that more. So if you take away someone's full culture and then on top of it, you throw their whole continent into disarray, all they can do is be slaves. They don't even know anything else. I kind of went through the same thing Native people went through. I've never learned anything about Black history. I went to an all-white school, and I was the only Black kid in every class. They taught me white history. Imagine if somebody was teaching me African history.
Yeah.
The whole time, teaching you that people from Barbados actually come from Ghana, and people from Jamaica actually come from here, and you should go back there. And all of a sudden, I know where to go back in Africa to reestablish my roots.
When a racist prick guy tells you to go back to Africa, you're like, well, I'm saving up for a ticket, actually. I know where to go now.
But it's just like Jewish people. They have a birthright to go to Israel.
Yeah.
Black people don't have that. There should be something where they just go back to Africa and actually check it out and see that it's... And also, as Black people, we're always taught that Africa is this desolate place. That's just destruction and horrible. But there's beautiful places in Africa. Oh, yeah. Places that are safe, places that are beautiful, places where we could go and actually like flourish as like entrepreneurs and people.
Yeah.
But if you don't know any of that, you'll sit back and just sit inside your house or wherever the fuck you are, and you'll just take in whatever somebody gives you. You know?
Damn.
Like imagine if an Irish guy right now is trying to teach you about how, or a Scottish guy is trying to teach you about how Scottish people saved the Irish people. They've kept them safe this whole time, and all your history's gone. So that's all you know. Yeah. All you know is that Scottish people are the ones that helped you and saved you and everything like that. Like, how fucked up would that be? Knowing what you know right now, how fucked up would that be?
I wouldn't like that.
Right?
No, that's a good point.
Yeah, taking away someone's history, it can destroy them. You need to know your history. That's why it's so important that some of these statues stay up, because we have to know about the bad things that have happened in order for us to not repeat them. For all Black people know, we're repeating something that's happened. We're good with these folks.
If Alberta just decided to take everyone's statues, like even the ones that America's like not, even the ones that America's taken down,
they're just like, bring them here.
Yeah, man. Fucking yeah. So Johnny MacDonald, I think my opinion on him is just a real snake guy, but at the same time, the man knew how to make a deal. He knew how to fucking make a backdoor deal. Put a little something extra in his pocket. Well, he does it too. Not only is he like, I'm gonna put the country together, I'm gonna make a couple bucks on the side.
He was full-blooded American. I know he was Scottish, but that's like the American way, right?
Yeah, man. So yeah, and yeah, definitely mistreated the natives. Like, so as far as taking down a statue, the thing is like, yeah, the birthplace of a nation, Canada became Canada. The guy fucking put it together. We gotta fucking know that he existed, but we also need to
100%.
They also need to hire us to just sit in front and just be like, hey, this guy was pretty mean to natives. And he also was corrupt. He was corrupt.
And you know what? I don't see a reason why not. There shouldn't be some, like, whether it's a person or a plaque or whatever, there should be something. There should be something that explains his impact, good and bad. And that's what we said last time with Christopher Columbus. Like, you got to know who this guy is because of what he did. But
I'm trying to think of how to put John A. MacDonald into like, if I had to put it on a plaque. So you don't want to put too much, just a couple, 3 sentences maybe. I would say single-handedly brought the nation together.
Comma destroyed native.
Destroyed. He had a large role in destroying native culture, and I don't know if I would call it a genocide because I didn't, as far as my research goes, like he wasn't like killing them off. He was more so forcefully putting them in,
like camps
in
basically.
reserves.
Yeah,
which is bad too. But I don't know how to put that on the plaque. Like how to put in words what he did on the plaque. Brought the nation together. Fucking subdued the native culture. Like what is it?
Brought a halt to Native American history in North America,
Yeah.
in Canada, or at least took it on a very bad turn. Yeah, or you could say he was a man that monopolized off of the things that were already in place.
Yeah, because it was when he was a kid. When he was a kid, they already brought up the idea. What I say about the residential? So it first came. The first one was in 1831. He didn't authorize it until 1883, like in his second term as prime minister.
True.
When he came back. So yeah, the guy. It wasn't his idea, but he did look at it and he's like, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's get these native kids less native.
Yeah, because at that time he was only worried about bringing all these people together, all these white settlements together,
making more room for the queen to say, "Oh, I want to send over a lot more people. Where can they settle?"
Yeah.
Oh, I know where they can settle. Where all these natives are about to move out of, because I'm going to say all the food's over here.
True.
So it's fucked, man. Because I guess it also that whole like, I'm going to give you food and cigarettes and alcohol if you just go live over here. Like, it took away the drive of the people to get stuff for themselves too. So it's like, it was a good mind game, like to play with them. He's like, take away all your drive. Go relax over here, and then you go there, and you're like, fuck, man, I don't want to live here.
You talking about Serb?
Serb, yeah. Damn.
Imagine they're just like, hey, we're not giving you Serb again, and you gotta go live over there.
Oh, you guys want Serb? Oh, you want to get checks regularly? Go live in this little commune, buddy. Okay, so if you're listening to this episode, you're lucky enough to know that don't do that, or you're gonna end up 200 years later looking like your family history is something of.
Exactly.
Regret the deals you made.
Go ask native people how that turns out.
Fuck.
Don't just.
It's the playbook, yo. This is the playbook,
right?
Holy.
Right. Just disarm them, take away their drive, like you said, and make them nice and comfortable. You don't get this, but you're getting this and all this, and I'll give you more. You guys don't have to worry. You're just here.
So we're either gonna cut your food supply off where you are, or we're gonna give you food, alcohol, and cigarettes, but you got to move into this little space over here.
Yeah.
And we might want to take your children away.
and then think about it, right? Whoever didn't want to go along with this, whoever was like, fuck these guys, we're staying right here, let's fight. What happened to those guys? Those guys got killed for sure.
Well, that's the thing. Louis Riel, he got hung in the town square, and they put up a John A. MacDonald statue where he got hung.
To let you know, like, hey.
That's what the guy said. The guy that was doing the fucking presentation. He's like, this one I find if we have to have statues of John A. MacDonald in this country, okay, but it doesn't have to be there. Yeah. That's like straight up just showing natives like, hey, you guys want to ever like talk back? Remember what happened right here. It's fucked. That one I'll say, without a shadow of a doubt, take that one down. Put up a fucking statue of Louis Riel. Show that part of history. Be like, this guy got hung here for trying to push back on native rights, which we all know and agree now is like, yeah, he was doing the right thing. 100%. He wasn't coming from a bad place. He's like, I don't want our kids being sent to residential schools. I don't want us getting put on reserves away from the community. Like, the guy was trying to make points like that. I think it's completely reasonable to say, take down the Johnny MacDonald statue, put him up, or put them up side by side, put them up arguing against each other.
Ooh, that would be something if you had like just one circle place and it's like one facing him and he's facing him.
Yeah.
And just to let people know that there was a standoff here.
And this guy died for it.
Yeah.
This guy straight up died for it. And that's the guy that killed him. the fucking prime minister, the fucking guy that's on your old $10 bill.
Right.
They're changing the $10 bill though, eh? Viola Davis.
Who's that?
Um,
Listen, when you say a name that's gonna be on a bill, I should just know who the fuck that person
well,
is.
she's black,
I
so
don't
take some
care.
pride in it. Your history, bud.
Let's see if it's my history. What'd she do?
We'll save that for another one. I didn't do the research on Viola. But yeah, she was a nice lady.
I don't know, man.
She was a black woman in history that is getting honored now. She must have done some good shit because
I don't need a black person on a bill. Like, whatever black people are like fighting for right now, just give them that stuff. You know, like not everything, because sometimes Black Lives Matter are asking for a little crazy stuff, but give the people what they want more so than just what's it called, placating them by giving them a black person on a bill. Put a native person on the bill. That would actually make more sense. Replace John A. MacDonald with a native guy in the fucking headdress and everything, and that's our bill. That would be sick. I would like to see that more than somebody I don't know. I would like to see it be like a chief that got displaced by John A. MacDonald instead of
a chief or that Louis guy or man, somebody
or Louis. That would be amazing to see.
Man, what if like?
But you know what that does? Just sorry to cut you off, but you know what that does? That inspires people to do the same thing. That inspires people to rebel as well. That inspires people to do that, and that's probably why they're not putting a native person, period. A chief?
Because that was straight up the resistance against Canada and stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, fucking. What if all this time, all the Black Lives Matter protests, all the time where it's like we're on native land. What if all this time, white people back at it again? We were creating this new land that we were gonna go live in, and we're like, all right, yeah, we're gonna give it back to the natives back now. And you guys can figure that out with the black people about this shit.
Oh no!
And they're just like,
all the white people just bounces.
All the white people
motorboat.
They're just like, well, actually, most of the people that I see at the Black Lives Matter protests are white too, so they'd have to sort it out. They're like, oh, okay, fight it out with the natives over whose land this is. You guys are fucked now.
The only BLM protest I've been to that was all black was the one I went to in Pickering. I've been to like 15
Pickering,
ones. Yeah. Pickering had black people. Brampton had black and brown people, of course, but everywhere else.
Oh, you went to a bunch, eh?
I've gone to like 15 different ones. Yeah, I wanted to meet the organizers. I wanted to see what was going on. I wanted to see who turns them violent because I thought they would turn violent here.
Well, there was one that you were at where I heard a guy in the background saying like, what do you say
what?
But in like 2 hours, this city's gonna be burned to the ground.
Yeah.
But that guy didn't. It was like one guy with like 3 of his friends that were like they didn't have the backing. Like the actual people running it were like, nah, go home.
Yeah, exactly. Those Ethiopian dudes. Yeah, they wanted to tear the city apart.
Yeah, I'm Team West Africa all the way. Wakanda forever.
Yes. R.I.P. to Mr. Bozeman. Thank you so much for the Black Panther.
Did you see Get On Up, James Brown?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Okay, so a lot of people, I've seen so many people talking about Black Panther, which is an iconic role, and it makes little kids have a hero to look up to. I give them that.
Of course.
But as an adult, a grown man, you want to look at a real black superhero? Watch this guy play James Brown.
Who?
Chadwick Boseman.
He plays James Brown?
Yeah, and he does a very good job. The voice he does so good, like that raspy voice, like when he's speaking. Oh my god, that's where I was like, this guy's a fucking amazing actor. I'm a big James Brown fan too, so I'm a little biased in that sense.
Really?
Watching the story. Oh,
Are you?
James Brown, man. You want to talk about a black hero? This guy. I'm not gonna spoil it. Just watch the movie, or just watch a James Brown documentary. The guy did amazing things, like best entertainer of all time, and on the business side, just made crazy waves that nobody ever did before. Like owned his own music, didn't pay money to the white man, wasn't created by the white man like Black Panther.
Wow.
This guy was a G. So watch Get On Up.
That's crazy. I didn't know James Brown was like that. You know what? That would make sense why the media was always trying to tear him down.
Oh, James
they were
Brown's
constantly trying to paint him as like a horrible person.
Well, maybe we'll have to do an episode on him. But I'm telling you now, that guy is going all pros in my book. Yo, I don't know what the dirt is. Did he do coke? Did he hit a girl? I don't know. But James Brown, man,
bro, he's the reason.
The
he's like he indirectly is the reason hip hop exists. I mean, just the fact that he made music, he inspired somebody he inspired Michael Jackson, he inspired Prince. Bro, he brought about black people being inspired by somebody and wanting to move around and dance, and that led to hip hop.
Oh yeah, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud.
Right. Oh, and that was one of his songs for sure. They fucking were trying to tear him down.
Oh yeah, he's
wow.
So he's the first. Well, this is gonna. We'll save it. We'll do a James Brown episode eventually. Well, let's get through some more shitty white people first.
Yeah.
And
and some shitty brown people.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Indians, we're gonna go for another Indian next week. Gandhi.
Right.
So stay tuned for. Actually, I think we're gonna drop all these episodes at once. So just let that shit play on. Let the next episode play, guys. This is another episode of Pros and Conquerors. The bad boys of history.
So wait. At the end, do you think the statue should be torn down?
I think our best. Okay, so in that one spot,
you know what?
Hold
on. You're white, so let me just answer for it. I don't think it should be taken down.
That's fine.
Okay, so I'll just say that.
Yeah.
That way, it's the black guy who's the bad guy right now, and you can just.
Okay, black guy's the bad guy. I'm always down with that. So Johnny MacDonald, the one that got taken down by the people in Montreal, by the people that think they're the real voice of the city. Oh, 2% of the population. Oh, we have to get votes online. Guys, get a fucking petition, a better petition than that. You put it online and you're going to get 46,000.
That's true, man.
Fucking signatures. Losers. But anyways, they took down the statue with their own bare hands, and respect on that. And Alberta wants it, and I just think it'd be funny to actually give it to Alberta, because Alberta's like, oh, Quebec doesn't want it, we'll take it. So I think that one should go to Quebec, and then I think
to Alberta. Yeah.
Sorry, the Quebec one should go to Alberta, and then the one that's in Regina that rightfully so is should be taken down. If they're not going to take it down, I think they should put that statue of Louis Riel and tell the whole story of what happened there. Yeah. I think that would be a great thing to do for Canadian history. Yes, that's the Prime Minister. That's the guy that was trying to make him stop doing mean shit to natives, which is like, we can all look back and be like, that guy was in the right. He shouldn't have got hanged for that.
Of course.
He's saying, I don't want these kids put in residential schools. He's saying, I don't want us being forced on reserves. And he's like, oh, you're saying that? Hang him. Nah, we know that's wrong. We can at least say, if you want to take down John A. MacDonald, put up Louis Riel, show the whole story in Regina. Now in Toronto, I don't even know what's going on with it. Like, he's the Prime Minister. It's noteworthy, but yeah, there should be some way of showing, like, this guy's done dirt. We're not putting up a statue of him to say, kiss his feet and we love them. Like, this guy was a corrupt, wheeling and dealing guy. Like, he wasn't a saint. He wasn't a good person, I don't think.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I think the best thing the country could do is put up a Louis Riel statue from. I didn't do a research, but now I'm gonna find out, like, a man like Dimitri will show me like a bunch of fucking Louis Riel like touched kids or something. Like, he's gonna show me some dirt on that side. But from what I know, I think that would be a very just thing to do.
Yeah, I think
where he got hung, put that up.
Yeah, where he's hung, I think it would be a great idea to put both, because then that doesn't just make people go, oh, he did this great thing, Louis Riel. It makes you look and see the actual history of the country, and that would be perfect.
This guy got hung here for standing up for Native rights,
and this guy,
and that's the Prime Minister that.
And it's like, this guy brought it together. Don't worry, that one moved a little bit. We're just gonna use that one. Don't worry. Well, you hit it a little bit. Yeah, that's your cam now. Yeah. But yeah. So I think that one, there should be something done with that. Either remove him and put Louis Riel, or put both.
Put both, yeah.
I think, but the rest of them should just stay. And I think the plaque idea was like a really good idea. I think
the plaque is going to be a running theme on this show, just because it's like, yeah, like sometimes,
or maybe not a plaque. Maybe it's just like a big ass fucking, like, maybe it's a big ass plaque that's like 2 by 2 foot, you know, and it just says everything. There's
2 sides of every story, so you put one side of the plaque is good stuff, one side of the plaque is bad stuff.
Oh, true. That would be great.
Because these guys in history that they did, it's not to say that they did great shit, but it is to say that they did such noteworthy thing, like a guy that, he was the first guy that brought the country together. Christopher Columbus was the first guy that was able to create a settlement for Western civilization. Like, it's noteworthy. It's okay to say, yeah, this guy existed and that's what he did. Now, we don't have a Johnny MacDonald Day, so we don't have to worry about celebrating him. I'm not saying nobody has to celebrate him, but yeah.
Happy Canada Day. That's John A. MacDonald Day.
Nah, it's not.
Was that the day he got appointed?
1867, July 1st is when Canada became a country. I don't know if it happened on the same day, but he was the first Prime Minister.
So that means it's when Canada became a country. So isn't that because of him and what he did with the whole railway thing that you're talking about?
He definitely, yeah. call him single-handedly responsible for making Canada a country. He made all the deals from East Coast to West Coast. He's the one that went. He wasn't even a prime minister yet. He was just doing work on behalf of pretty much the Queen to say like, okay, yeah, I got everyone down. I got everyone down to become a fucking.
Can you imagine that? Yeah. This motherfucker went to Newfoundland and said, "Hey,
go back to fucking BC.
What's going on, guys?"
I think Newfoundland was later on.
Really?
I don't know if Newfoundland was the original province. Is it?
God damn.
I think it's Quebec.
I don't know, man. I it sucks as a Canadian. I don't know enough about our whole thing.
Learn your history because you lost your other half of history.
I'd rather learn that part of history. Like my sister actually found out that like our people come from like Cuba before it was Cuba, in like way back when like people were just marooned there and they were like killing British people, and like these people migrated to like where Jamaica is, and there was a treaty that had to get signed, and a bunch of wild shit in our family, man.
Well, that's a story for another day.
Definitely, yeah. You guys don't want to get into my family tree. Bunch of murderers.
Really?
Well, yeah. My dad, he was military. He had to kill people, and I just imagine Caribbean, especially being Jamaican and Cuban. Yeah, it's probably a bunch of killers in the family on my dad's side.
Yeah.
And that's where the Cummings names comes from. So,
your dad's side?
Yeah. Oh. So who knows, man?
Who knows? I'm surprised you even know your dad.
Bro, I don't really. Not really. I mean, I know him. It seems like I know him more than Quinn knows his, but I don't know him that well. And he's dead.
My dad walked out on my family, but at least he waited until I was grown up to do it.
He did?
Yeah.
Wow. How old are you?
Oh, like full grown man, like 20s.
You're in your 20s?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right then.
Came home one day and he's just like, yeah, I'm moving to another person's house.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So we'll do an episode on him one day too.
Oh, shit.
No, he was a good guy.
Of course he was, man. He reared a very nice son.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all you can do, man.
But, yeah, man. So, yeah, another wishy-washy episode of Pros and Conquerors. Like we're not giving these guys the business. You know what I mean? We're not giving them the business.
I don't think there's the business to be given. Like he fucked up and well, I guess he didn't fuck up. That was part of his plan with the whole native schools. He ripped them from their history, and slowly they mixed, and now they've lost most of their history. Like
alternate universe is a universe where Johnny MacDonald was nice to the natives, and they just killed all the white people because we gave them too much leash. There's an alternate universe where that happened. And Johnny MacDonald is the one that got hung in town square.
There's an alternate universe where it was white people that showed up and massacred the native people, and then fucking found Irish people and fucking made them slaves. British people,
there's an alternate universe where black people made white people slaves, but they couldn't last that long because it was too hot in their sun.
And the whole economy of the whole world collapsed because of these weak slaves.
Yeah, white slaves are the worst slaves. We can agree on that. White people make the worst slaves.
Nah, I like white people. They're good people, man.
But slavery wise, like, Irish people were slaves in the Caribbean for like just a real short stint.
Well,
they whip them on the back and they would be useless because they're sunburned.
Yeah, they would die and stuff.
Can't even take a whip.
Yeah, they couldn't take anything.
Let's get these black people back in here.
But they mixed. They ended up mixing together pretty well.
That's black and white?
Of course. If you ever, and this is so funny because you're Irish, if you ever listen to a Jamaican person talk, just think of a Nigerian person speaking and then think of an Irish person speaking. It's just an African accent with an Irish accent.
I see a lot of similarities in the Irish and Jamaican accent, and that's why I just think they're the two coolest cultures in the world.
True. I can agree with that.
For like, as far as like charming and just talking and shooting the shit, like they're always like
charismatic,
good people. Not everyone, but I mean like the culture in general.
Yeah,
Jamaican and Irish, the best.
True.
Honorable mention to Ghana.
Thank you. Barbados, Ghana.
Yeah.
All right, are we wrapping it up?
I think we're wrapping it up.
Man, you wrap it up. You're great at outroing things. Do it.
Yeah. So that was another episode of Pros and Conquerors. Stay tuned for more Bad Boys of History.
Give me stripper voice. Give me stripper DJ voice.
Yeah, guys. You're listening to Pros and Conquerors, the Bad Boys of History. Let me hear it for your hosts, James JamEasy Cummins and Colin Cummings. My throat. I was losing my throat. Pause. Coronavirus, Wuhan flu.
Jesus.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to doing more of these, learning more, and learning as we go. Don't judge us too harshly. Don't hold us too hardly in the historical in the history of your mind for even siding with these guys, because I don't think we're taking I don't think we've taken a side yet.
I'm not on the side
we're
of
riding the fence.
Yeah, I haven't been on the side of the people. I've been on the side of history, just because like you need to have it.
Like stuff happened. Like you have to respect that shit. People made moves to make shit happen. Like Canada became a country because this guy was a shady, crafty motherfucker.
In America, the Democrats formed the KKK. That's important history.
And yeah, like the liberals had no problem with what he was doing to the natives. They said, stop giving them so much money for food. All that stuff, all that dangling food shit. You know what I mean? Can't you force them to go there some other way? Like, they didn't even have any problem with the whole forcing them on reserve. Anyways, we're just going in circles now. This is supposed to be the outro.
I know. Outro.
Guys, that was another episode of Pros and Conquerors, the bad boys of history. Stay tuned for more. We're going to be talking about a brown guy next episode. Can you guess who it is? Did I say it already?
I don't think so.
He's brown. He's Indian. He's known to be pretty good, but he might have been pretty bad.
Sick. That was actually a good outro. All right, guys. Peace.